But we're going to talk about leads, and we kind of chatted a little bit before that. You said there are 4 or 5 different lead categories, and they're really important to kind of cut them up into different segments and really measure them differently than most. So I'm curious, where did you get that idea? And then let's talk about it. Share it with the group.
Yeah, so basically, again, part of my platform is we're gonna have we're gonna have products. I see a lot. Let me set it up this way. So if you look at a standard brokerage, you have 3 groups within that brokerage. You have the top 20% and maybe the top 10, but the top 10 or 20% that are killing it. You have the middle 60% they're holding their own. You have the bottom 20 taking up space. Now, what is the difference between the top 20 and the bottom 20, right? So for me, I see so many ways that I can help. My show, my interviews, I hope help people, and I get emails all the time saying, "Hey, listen, I get motivation or I get tips or whatever." But more than that, I want to create products to help people. Most agents are terrible at Facebook. But there's not a Facebook for real estate agents product, right? Everybody knows that leads. There's 2 things that are important to every business. 1, it's leads. Everybody says, "I don't have enough leads." And then 2, once they figure out how to get that channel working, then it becomes time management. So I've been in the process of creating a product.
Hey, Toby, we lost you. We lost you for a minute, buddy.
Can you hear me? What about? Am I now? I see me now.
I know, but we lost you for a good 20 seconds, and I don't know if it was me that got dropped or you that got dropped, but I just couldn't see it. So let's start back over. You're creating.
Yeah. So I won't get. So listen. So here's. I said a bunch, but I won't go over it. Basically, part of my platform is we want to create products to help agents get better, faster, everything. So as every business and real estate agents, especially, 2 things they care about is 1, lead generation. Do I have the right amount of leads? Where do I get leads? And then 2, it becomes time management once they figure that out. And I want to give people an easy framework and look, I hope at the end of this hangout, this is what I'm not going to tell you where to deploy your dollars, only because everybody's different, everybody has different amounts, markets are different. But what I want to do is give everybody sort of a framework for classifying, for understanding actual cost and quality of the lead. Cost and quality. And so I want to hopefully give you guys a matrix to again think about leads for yourself. So here's the deal. Everybody, and again, hopefully everybody has a sales funnel. Hopefully everybody knows what that funnel is. So your job as an agent or a business owner or whatever is to go through and feed that funnel. So most of the time, what I see is agents or business owners. I'll say agents from now on, but most of the time their funnels are very, very lopsided, right? For whatever reason, they find something that works, they find something they're comfortable with, and they kind of double down on that. Now, what I think is you need to think about your leads, you need to think about your business, your market, whatever, with a portfolio or an asset allocation theory in place. So let me illustrate this kind of 2 ways. Number 1, if you go back to 2008 when the world was melting or whatever, if you properly had a mixture of inventory that you targeted, right? So luxury, you have mid-market, you have entry-level market. If you can have play with each one of those, no matter what environment you're in, you're going to be okay, right? So because if luxury goes down, you're at entry, whatever. So leads are kind of the same way. So you should, again, think about having asset allocation. If people don't know what asset allocation is, if you go to this is again portfolio theory, if you go to a stockbroker or an advisor or whatever, you say, hey, listen, I have $10,000, $1,000, whatever, I have this much money to deploy. They're going to do a couple things. They're going to say, okay, listen, let's determine your risk tolerance. Are you high risk? Are you low risk? And then once they determine your risk tolerance, they will give you an asset allocation. They will evenly distribute that amount of money in assets, right? In stocks or bonds. So, blue chip or emerging markets, or a mixture of bonds and emerging markets, whatever. Something that fits you. So the same thing with leads is you should have them across asset allocation or portfolio theory worked in. So leads are 4 boxes. Okay, so I'll say them and then we can talk about them. So you have offline leads, you have online leads, you have free leads, you have paid leads, and then you have the one sort of outlier, and that is referrals. They kind of they're just referrals. They're uncategorized. They don't fall in those boxes. So I'm just looking at my notes to kind of sketch this out. So overall, you need to have so ROI and ROTI. So when people think about their leads, whether they're paid or free, I will say this to you: no matter what your leads look like, you're always paying for them. You're either buying them or you're working for them. So there's a cost associated to every lead you get. And I think the other so when you think about your leads, I'm sure you guys think about ROI, your return on investment. If I pay $10 for a lead and I make $100 off of that lead, I think number one, the typical agent will say, "Oh, geez, that's a 10x return."
Yeah.
Number one, that's not true, because how you really calculate that is you take your $100, what you made, you subtract your cost of the lead, and what pops out is your actual percentage, right? So in that case, it's not a 10x, but it's actually 8.9x. Now, right. I'm splitting hairs here, but I'm only doing it to illustrate that how you think about your marketing machine, the dollars that you put in and what you get out, you probably are thinking about it a little bit wrong. Now the other piece, and again, I want to talk about these pieces, and then we'll go and we'll kind of break them down. The other piece is something called ROTI, your return on time invested, right? So there is a dollar, a percentage component. You have dilution. If I buy a lead today for $10 and it converts tomorrow, then I get back that 8.9x, right? Or 10x if you want to do rough, dirty math. But if I convert that lead 12 months from now, I have dilution every day that lead goes out. So in reality, I'm not going to give you the percent, like how to calculate it's called CAGR. I used to be in finance, so I don't want to give you that. It's a crazy calculation, but basically, you're essentially getting not a 10x return or 8.9. You're getting maybe a 25% return.
Right.
So how does that help you guys? How does that help you understanding the dilution and the time frame involved in lead conversion? Well, how it's going to hopefully help you is to allow you to number one, think about where you should be spending your time and where you should be deploying your dollars. Because ideally what you want to do is you want to maximize both your highest your maximum return in the shortest possible time. Okay, so
well, and I want to step in here real quick because there's a reason, and I want to kind of set the table or set the plate. The reason we're having this conversation is because guess what? It's the new year, right? And everybody should be looking. I mean, I just got our reports for what happened all of 2014. Like, I know every single operational aspect of our business. And when we're talking about leads, it's called a volume report. And a volume report says, what are the sources that you had, how much you made, how long it took them to convert, if you had to pay anybody a referral fee or commissions because you had a buyer's agent, do that, or you had a listing agent do that. And so what we're really talking about is we're getting ready for the next year. Arguably, over the next 2 or 3 years, like you said, I believe there's going to be a lot of money on the table. And the right agents are considering, where can I double down on my money? Where can I cut money? Where can I speed up the cash conversion ratio? Like what you're talking about is like get a lead and close a lead. If I can take that from 90 days down to 60, guess what? That's more money. And all I did was make it close faster. I didn't have to spend any more money. There wasn't an additional time element to it. It was just like speed up, shorten the time from lead to close. And so I think what we're doing right now is just getting you guys ready for the new market, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But look. And there's lots of fancy ways to math to calculate stuff. But I will say this: when you can shorten, let's say you shorten that conversion rate from you had $1,000 to play with, okay, and you deploy that $1,000, and your typical conversion is 90 days. But let's say you can reduce that to 45 days. You not only what you are doing, there's a giant compounding effect that you get in addition to increasing your percentages. Because now you have you instead of investing $1,000 today and kicking out $3,000 in 90, you kicked $3,000 out in 45 days. Well, guess what? If you can do that again, that's $6,000, $12,000. Boom, 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 boom. So you need to think about. I mean, this is stuff that that you've learned about in business school that you
Right.
don't learn other places. So you need to, again, as agents, you need to think about where you're deploying your capital and the fastest place to get returns.